entrepreneurs. We're going to discuss a women's entrepreneurial journey Q&A. So we will now introduce our panel. We'll now introduce our guest speakers here. They are all local business owners in Miami. Ladies, if y'all can just state your name, where you're from, what's your business, and how the listeners can reach you. We'll start with Lexi.
All right. My name is Lexi Goza, and I own and operate Lexi Goza State Farm at the corner of 14th and Biscayne in downtown Miami. I've been in business since 2019, and just absolutely love Miami and serving the people of Miami. I'm originally not from Florida, you might imagine with my accent. I'm from the Midwest. I grew up in Minnesota, relocated to Florida in early 2000s. So, and then Miami obviously in 2017. So I've been in Miami for about 5 years, still feel like I'm a newbie. I love that. And people can find me on my website, which is specialagentlexi.com. Instagram, I am Lexi SF Agent, and also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all the channels.
Fire.
Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Happy you're here.
Yes, we're very happy you're here. Thank you for the invite. My name is Giselle Lacayo. My soul is from Matagalpa, Nicaragua, but I'm originally from Miami, Florida. 305 all day. I won't leave this place for nothing. If there's one way you want to follow, I ask is Instagram. gnutrition.info. gnutrition.info. That's it.
Awesome. So, my name is Tracy Perez. I was born in Hialeah, Florida. And my business's name is Insanity and Profanity. I am a visual storyteller. Therefore, I am a photographer, video maker, digital artist, all kinds of art. And yeah, I express myself through all art forms, as well as music within the city, 305 forever as well. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Tracy Not McGrady, and my website at insanityandprofanity.com.
I like that. Tracy Not McGrady.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shannon, for inviting me. My name's Heather Matoyer, and my business is Dragon Ice Cream Treats. I'm a mobile vendor for parties, corporate events, nonprofits. I'm actually from LA, but we originated the business in 2007 in Tampa, Florida, and operated it there for about 7 years, and then came to Miami, and have been operating down here for the whole South Florida area.
Bye.
And how can you?
Oh, you can reach me by Instagram, Dragon Ice Cream Treats, or website is dragonicecreamtreats.com, and Facebook also.
Thank you very much. So for this segment, we're going to do a Q&A. I have a few questions for the lady entrepreneurs here, and so we'll go ahead and get started. I'll ask a question, and then each one of you will have the opportunity to answer that one. So, first question, what inspired you to start your journey? Heather, we'll start with you.
Okay, so,
Heather.
I was kind of chasing money at a certain point in my life where I was working as a real estate broker, and then the recession hit in 2007. And so my husband and I were like, we got to reinvent you. If you don't want to be sitting around in a model home selling houses, you're going to have to figure out something that you're passionate about. And so I decided to do something that I was very nostalgic about, which was ice cream, sales. And it was recession proof because of the price point, and it just brings people so much joy. So we invested in a business, an ice cream truck business that was already existing. And then we grew it from 10 trucks to 17 up in Tampa, Florida. And so it actually had routes, and it had, all the way from Tampa to Lakeland, but I grew it into an event business so that it became like parades and parties and corporate employee appreciations, and because that is really where the bulk of the profits are, and the joy, of doing the business. So just bringing joy to people all the time, birthday parties, kids, what's better than an ice cream truck? So yeah, that's basically how it started. It started from something happening to me, to me making something happen. So
I love that.
Amen.
Definitely the picture we like.
That's quote of the night right there, I think.
Okay, Tracy, same question. How did you start your journey?
So my journey has began for some time now. Art is just something that I've always done on the side. I guess for a very long time I felt a little weird about making income off of my art form. I felt a little uncomfortable about that because it just came so passion driven. So I didn't find a place on pricing. I didn't understand where do I begin on telling people, hey, this print costs this, or this photo shoot is this, or to work on this will be this. So that took some time for me, in honesty. It took some time for me to begin that. There was a lot of free work done, a lot of just out of our heart things coming out of that. And yeah, at some point I really felt like, wow, there is some sort of professionalism that now my craft has. Therefore, I care to carry myself that way because I can establish a life for myself through my craft and also serving my community through it, whether it's a simple empowerment photo shoot for someone or making a documentary simply about my city or all kinds of things. So yeah, it's taken some time, but I feel like I've gotten there and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, good route.
Yeah, beautiful. Say the question one more time so I get it right.
How did you get started on your journey?
It's a long story. I don't think we had that much time, but we're going to go back to, I was a college athlete. I came back to Miami and accepted that basketball was done for me. Now it's time to be an adult. Nobody taught me how to be an adult. The hardest thing I ever did. Like, I feel like I became an adult a couple months ago. So fast forward, I find Herbalife, and my mentor gets me in her nutrition club. She serves shakes, she gets people healthy, makes them lose weight, and I do the boot camp, she does the Zumba. We're pure energy, no direction, but the energy was there. And then out of nowhere, this angel comes to the door, and she steals my heart. And she tells me she wants to feed my clients. I'm like, why? We're already making money selling shakes. No, I want to cook. It was the biggest fight ever, bro. I did not want this business. I didn't want no part in it, but she was so consistent that I said, just tell me what to do, and I got your back. We started cooking from Grandma's kitchen. Fast forward, she walks away from it all. I refuse to give up on this baby. We birthed it, and I could understand how you walk away from something, but I didn't know how I was doing. I didn't know what I was gonna do or how I was gonna do it, but I knew I had to do it because at that point, it felt like God's calling. Like, I never wanted this. Why? Like, why? So now we're here, and it's gonna be $1 million brand.
And can you explain it a little bit?
I haven't even said my business. Okay. G Nutrition. It's a gourmet meal prep company.
Okay.
So we wholeheartedly provide the best meal plans, chef created, and delivered to your doorstep. So you don't have to go grocery shopping. You don't have to prep your food. You don't have to cook. You don't have to wash dishes. Just magic appears at your door. And it's more about an experience that I'm trying to create for people because most people don't know that eating healthy is not really a diet. Like, it's a lifestyle. And I just feel like I have a message to spread. Well, I've always known I had a message, but I didn't want to speak. And then when you hit me up that you wanted me to speak on your podcast, I was so against it, but I feel like it was a calling again. Like, you've been quiet for so long, like, it's time to step out into the world and get your message out.
Nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I started with State Farm as a single mom of 2 small babies, and I was working 3 jobs and going to school at night. And State Farm gave me the opportunity to not have to work myself to death and not miss my kids' childhood. So I have a lot of gratitude for the company itself, and just all of the opportunities that came after that were just kind of building on my my skills in the business world. I graduated with my bachelor's 6 months after I started at State Farm in my first role. And then I started to understand, like, I don't think anybody ever goes, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to be an insurance agent, right? Like, that's not how that happens. So, you get into it one way or another, either it's a family member or however it happens, and then you start to recognize all of the things that you didn't know. right? And so when I look back on my life, just me specifically, so this happens to people all over the country. At 16, I was a brand new driver. At 17, I was a brand new driver. I failed my first test, parallel parking. Yeah.
And in Miami?
Right, yes. So I had a car accident at 17, and I had no idea, how to handle it. If I was supposed to call the police, I caused it. There were damages to the other person's car and themselves and their passenger. I didn't have valid coverage to cover all of that. So here I am, 17 years old. I'm a high school student working part-time at my aunt's salon as a receptionist, and I'm hit with wage garnishment.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, so huge financial impact, which could have been avoided if I had talked to the right people.
Wait,
right?
what's wage garnish?
So they start taking money out of your check to pay for the damages.
At 17?
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah. So in Minnesota, that's legal. They didn't, I don't know about Florida, but and every state is different, obviously. But the whole thing could have been avoided if I had had a conversation with somebody who explained to me, like, this is what your coverages do, and without this, you're going to be responsible for X, Y, and Z, right? So I've made it my mission to make sure that our customers are educated, right? So we are educators, we're not hard sell. We want to make sure that you understand your options and everything that your insurance policy does for you and how it touches every aspect of your life. And then the third piece of my inspiration is that, I was 4 months old when my dad died. And my mom struggled as a ER nurse, single mom, newly single mom of 2. And she was working graveyard shift and there was no life insurance, no money came to her to bury him. The only thing that she got was the $100 from Social Security, and had somebody talk to my dad at some point and said, hey, I can show you a way to take care of your family if you're not here. He would have done that, right? And so I feel like it's my responsibility to share that story with people and help them understand, right? This is a way forward to protect your family and build a legacy and build financial stability for you and your family. So,
Wow,
Amen.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies. All right, so our next question, I'd like to hear about some of the obstacles you faced through your journey. Tracy, if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Tracy.
Okay. So some obstacles, I guess with obstacles, I guess that's more of an inner thing than anything. And because no matter what, even if it's physically occurring to you, how you take it, maybe someone is like, no problem. Or someone else is like, wow, this is really affecting me. In my case, I would say that there's been a lot of obstacles I just feel like naturally as an artist block is a thing. It's kind of seasonal. It's a seasonal thing. There are days when I want to create. There's months when I want to create. And then there's months where I want to hibernate. There's months where I kind of want to just be to myself, I am having experiences, but not necessarily do I want to have my camera on me the whole time or, be doing that. So I guess that's been an obstacle because I've been pushed to find balance within that. Because when you're taking upon your own business, when you're taking upon your own thing, it's balance, as I'm saying, because it's not necessarily, hey, there's no days off, but you have to show up for yourself. In order for it to move, you have to show up. And I would say that's definitely been an obstacle. I've seen the highs and the lows with that. I've seen what happens when I don't show up for myself, and I've seen what happens when I really put in some work. So, yeah, that would be my response.
All right, I'm aligned with her because honestly, the only person that gets in your way is you.
Yeah.
100%.
Any other story is false. I mean, I'm so concrete on this because the only thing that has kept me from becoming $1 million brand is my belief that I could do it.
Yeah.
The fact that this is a calling, I didn't think he called the right person. I'm like, dude, I always was used to leaving practice and showing up to the dinner table and eating. Now you're telling me I'm running a business where I'm doing all the behind scenes that I've never done in my entire existence. I used to tell my mother I would never cook for my partner in my life. I said if I ever was to cook, I would have gloves, and it was just, even my own mother knows this is not me. So the obstacle has been believing. The obstacle has been waking up every day and having to show up for the team, having to show up for myself. I mean, there's so many days that I had to fake a smile, and I'm grateful that I could actually smile and like it be genuine. It wasn't forced. Mainly making time for what you want. I think that's the hardest thing for everybody because we're so busy, and it's really hard to be still and truly ask your soul, what do you love? What do you want? And I feel like I got the opportunity because of Evelyn, that I finally have time to look in the mirror, be with myself, and be at peace. Because now I'm able to delegate more. And my priority before becoming $1 million company is I need my life back. Like after the breakup, I dived myself into this brand so hard, and then with the pandemic, it was even easier to be isolated. Right. But I want my life back, and that's why I'm here, because I'm building relationships, I'm stepping out of my home, I'm stepping out of my cycle, I'm stepping out of my routine, and I know I have a message that's gonna change somebody's life today.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Love it.
I don't think I can follow any of that. Like, what the hell?
I was done with Tracy.
Oh my gosh.
You got this, bro. You got this.
Goosebumps and everything.
Right.
Like, what the
Right.
heck? So I would say when I think back on obstacles that I faced, they go all the way back to before I opened my agency. So I would say, I believe firmly, everything happens for a reason, right? So my original journey, I was going to open an agency back in 2012. So like 7 years went by.
Oh man.
And what had happened was I'm in Atlanta and there's this incredible market. It's called Decatur. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's full of lesbians. So I'm like, that's my market. Like that's where I need to be an agent, right? And they ended up giving that office to an already existing agent as a second office, which happens sometimes, you know. They didn't even post it for new applicants. So it kind of was like, here's this opportunity. Oh, just kidding, you know, So I kind of felt like, okay, you know, that was it. That was my shot, right? And so now I'm just going to work for somebody else for the rest of my life. And so everything happens for a reason and timing, right? So right after I found out that that opportunity was not mine, my mom's health declined, and I had moved my whole family up to Atlanta, so my mom was still in Florida, and had I opened agency at that time, I wouldn't have been able to come back to Florida. And none of the stuff that's happened since then would have happened, right? I wouldn't have been able to spend the last 2 years of my mom's life with her.
Amen.
Like, I can't put a price on that, right? And so, then things happened as they did, and I ended up in Miami back with State Farm, and the opportunity opened up. They started putting agents on after 10 years of not putting agents on. And I said to my sales leader at that time, I'm like, listen, you know, I think, you know, Atlanta was it. Like, I don't think that's for me. And he was like, well, you know, take another look. And man, that's the other thing. Like, listening to people who are telling you, like, that message is coming through from somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So listen, pay attention, right?
And you listen.
Yes, I did, and I'm so grateful, so grateful. So that would be my first obstacle, and out of that comes, you know, just never counting yourself out of anything. It goes back to what everybody else was saying, you know, it's all here. The inner struggle is the most real, right? And the showing up, man, if you can get to the point where you're just like, I just know I gotta show up.
I just gotta be here.
I just gotta show up,
Something's gonna happen.
and something's gonna happen. And I put in the work, and something's gonna happen, right? That's how I got through my first year. And so that would be another obstacle. When I first started, the hiring market was much like it is now. Not as bad as it is now, but it was pretty rough. I hired 3 people. At the end of the day, I started with 1, so it was me and one other person, and it was crazy. And so all of my obstacles, 99.9% of the time, have been related to that team. Recruiting, onboarding, staffing, maintaining those relationships, shaping the culture. You
It's a
know,
whole nother podcast
culture
episode.
is a whole extra. That'll probably be 3 podcasts. So, you know, people come and people go. Through my first year, I went through 20 people, just like that.
Wow.
And it's hard to maintain a culture when you have that much shift, right? And then of COVID, and I stepped up during that time because I'm like, screw this, strap in, we're going, you know, like, so you just do what you gotta do, show up and listen and pay attention to the signs, and it'll happen.
Show the F up.
Yes,
I love it.
yes.
Show up.
100%.
Right.
Heather?
So when I look back, I think I had two major obstacles, and one was the business was located in Tampa, and it had a very established clientele. And like every entrepreneur knows, they pour themselves into their relationships, and people don't buy your product; they buy you. So when you pour yourself into relationships and then you relocate, it becomes like a whole new, like it's almost like you're starting your business all over again. So I had a network of, schools, and, HR is the one that hires me for like their staff, and hotels, and, so I really had to tap into that. Okay, let me contact those people in Tampa and see what they're connected to down here. I mean, hotels are hotels. They have HR people here, and schools, but then you have to just hustle different, But that was kind of just heartbreaking, because you have clients that are just your customers, so you have to reestablish yourself. And I would say the second thing was COVID. Being that I'm in the service industry, it was hotels were shut down, companies were working from home, people weren't doing anything, so I had like a really dry spell, but yet it recreated a whole new avenue of revenue that I didn't even dream of, which surpassed any of the years I've ever had in the business. And that was because there were essential workers, so I started working for hospitals. I started working for grocery stores.
Wow.
I started working for warehouses. I started doing drive-by parties, because only that's what I do. So I was the concessionaire for drive-by birthday parties. So that was just, to me, that was just saying, like, always ebb and flow to whatever you're doing, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because you don't always have like the perfect prescription for your business. You can't stay in a box. You have to know that it's going to move with whatever happens with the economy, with where you're living. So if you really want to be successful, you just have to be open to the change. Always.
Beautiful.
Forever.
It's definitely a good point.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Those great answers. Amazing answers. So next question is going to be, what goals have you set? And want to elaborate on that question just a little bit to explain, not just the straight perspective of business goals, but more so your personal goals that you set for yourself, because, as we know, the more we are aligned within ourselves, things just kind of naturally flow, and they work out for us on the outside. So business goals will come, but what are some of the personal goals you've set for yourself? We gonna go first. G.
Oh, I knew it was coming. So, I mean, as soon as I read the question, I knew I was gonna bring it to my personal, because nothing is right if I'm not right. Like, honestly, just energy you can't fake energy. I could fake my smile, but I can't fake the energy. So when I feel effed up, I don't even show up to the kitchen, because I know it's gonna mess up somebody else. So my main focus right now is I need to get myself right in order to scale this business. Like this business will not scale if I don't become a better version of myself. And I've always been reading books, but I'm trying to get more into my spiritualness, because I feel like I've been following man-made advice, and it's time to like go to the word, like the answer. So right now my priority is literally me, bro. Like my business is second at this point. And for 2 years it was 200% G-nutrition, and that's all I cared about. Every conversation had that word, and I was proud of it. And now it's like, bro, don't even mention it. Like I want to have a personal conversation with you that doesn't have anything to do with my business. Like, so the goal right now is get my life back, and then show others how to do it. And one way I feel like will help. What was the question again?
Personal goals you've set for yourself.
So, honestly, the main thing I struggle with is I haven't drank since January 2020.
Wow.
Right? I've been over 2 years already. And that's something I fight every day, because it's so open, it's so easy, it's always in front of you. I mean, there's wine right there. I want some wine right now, but it's a daily battle that I can't really share with anyone because almost nobody knows I'm going through it. So one day at a time, man.
Congrats to you, though.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
a huge
And
accomplishment.
that's so true, right? Until you scale yourself and you fight your own, things, especially if you want to lead, you have to. I felt like at a point it was like blind leading the blind. So I was like, people were ready to follow, and I didn't even know where I was going. We were all gonna go off this cliff.
Amen. Yes.
At least we together, right?
Yeah, so I definitely think that's like a very, very good point. So proud of you too, man. I know that
Thank you, bro.
that's
Love you.
a big thing. So congratulations on that. Keep
Thank
going.
you.
Lexi?
So goals, right? And I'm glad we had that conversation beforehand because I always go to the business. So with this opportunity, one of the things that you have to do is hit certain targets in the first year. So in the first year of agency, you don't own it yet. You have to prove yourself. You have to show that you can build a team, run them, drive results through other people. And if you don't do that, like they pretty much show you the door. Bye. I know you've invested $100,000 in this business opportunity, but you don't qualify. So that was the first biggest goal, and I checked that off with a lot of the same stuff you're talking about, right? Like 70, 80-hour work weeks, killing myself, always out talking to everyone I could think of. Even traveling 3 hours north to where I used to live to be like, hey, I need to sell you some insurance, right? So I think my personal goals align with exactly what you're talking about, right? Just getting my life back because it's been so unbalanced for so long. And we run the risk of burnout, right? So we think about starting a business, right? People who start a business, typically it's a 5-year deal. So if you hit the 5-year mark, you're golden, right? It's all of that time in between when you're building it that is the highest chance of failure, right? So so that's always kind of like right here, like it's the big monster. Like if I don't do all of the things and work 80 hours a week and talk to all the people, then I'm gonna fail, right? And that's the scariest thing. So so now that I've had the 3 years under my belt and I've got a team in place and it's gotten to the point where I can take time to do some self-development. My 2 main goals are really around the inner work. So I'm a huge, raving, crazy fan of Brene Brown and her work around Dare to Lead and building courage in the workforce. So I'm reading that book with my team, and we're doing the exercises to build that trust in the culture. And that obviously spills over into your personal relationships as well, right? And then the second piece is all about self-compassion. So Kristen Neff is kind of like the leading researcher in that field, and the work that she's done is just incredible. And she has all of these great exercises. And I think as women specifically, we put ourselves last over and over and over again, and we all have that critical voice inside, whether it came from a parent or a teacher, wherever it came from, saying you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're gonna fail, why do you keep trying, just stop, right? And so unlearning that constant nagging self-doubt and replacing it with kindness and self-compassion is like my number 1 goal. I used to say all the time to people, I have really high expectations of myself, and that translates into really high expectations for everyone else around me. And I realized that stems from not being compassionate to myself. And so when I can start to learn those skills, then it's easier for me to then be compassionate toward other people as well.
So,
Very nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Some of the goals I've been called lately because my husband and I have been talking about this. I've been doing this for like 13, 14 years. And he's like, I'm going to retire you when you're 55. I'm 52. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to retire. But he's just like, well, no, I know you want to do other things. And I'm like, I just feel called to serve, Like this last year, I just feel like there are a couple of things that I just want to check off, and that's just partnering more with nonprofits, because when you have your own business, you do, like Tracy said, you have that luxury of just giving away your product or just, pouring in your work into something without anything in return. And so it's really just nice to have that flexibility, you know, and that security where you can just, you know, donate your goods. And I really want to serve on a board, because I feel like, you know, typically nonprofit boards are usually executives, CEOs, you know, and there just aren't enough entrepreneurial people in that capacity, you know, that serve on a board level of nonprofits. And there's so many children's organizations, you know, that I want to work with. So I just really feel called to serve right now, that I just want to be doing, you know, instead of making, I want to just do. So yeah. It's a big goal for me in the next couple of years.
Beautiful goal. Definitely aligns with that.
Same.
So, next question.
Before you move on,
Yeah, I had an answer.
I don't think she answered.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
And I have one more thing to add too, but go ahead.
No, you could go ahead, add it on, because
Okay.
it's probably
Related
inspired
to
by that.
yeah. So you were talking about service. So one of the other reasons why I want balance back, other than to avoid burnout and not go crazy, is because I want to be able to do the things that got me into the business in the first place, which is the ability to have an impact in my community, right?
Yeah.
So I volunteer on the board of Aqua Foundation for Women. I'm engaged with Equality Florida and other advocacy organizations, the Chamber of Commerce, which is the Gay and Lesbian Chamber, which is in Miami Beach. I run the Women's Empowerment Council for that, so please attend those meetings. They're incredible. It's just a bunch of us women getting together and sharing business and ideas, and it's fantastic. So I want to do more of that, right? And obviously, if I have a business that's running, it's going to pay the bills, and I can kind of like set it on auto and go do all of these really cool, impactful things in the community. So
Beautiful.
Okay, and to hop off of that.
snowballing.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, you're part of so many things. And I feel like that's the beauty, that's the goal. That's why someone wants to be an entrepreneur. That's why someone wants to work for themselves, because you are able to do your own thing. You know, as you said, like, you can have the bills running and you could be in Ibiza right now.
Yeah.
And you know, running it up.
Wait,
So-
I can? I'm going.
That's a whole nother question, Shannon.
But to go into the answer of goals, it's that. Freeing yourself from that. You know, I feel like that's why the ones that are here and anyone that is watching cares to know about, hey, what is it to be an entrepreneur? I want to free myself from working for somebody.
Right.
I've worked jobs for people and I've been like, damn, I'm a talented motherfucker. What am I doing here? What am I doing here right now?
Yes.
You know? And there's so many things that I want to do. So I would say that my goals is that, like, continuing to free myself. I'm a jack of all trades, master of myself, as I like to say. But it's like I want to do this now, and photography will forever be my love, but there's so many other things that I want to do. I'm deeply interested in psychology. My dream is to open a place in another country, and my motherland, Nicaragua, as well.
Yay.
And I want to open up a place that is where people come and retreat and heal through art, through nature, through eco-psychology. These are all of the things, everything that I'm a part of is interconnected. You know, the photo, the nature, the people, the wanting to connect, the networking, the all of it. Therefore, it's to continue opening up doors for yourselves. I feel like the goal is to always be an entrepreneur, and that doesn't necessarily mean to stick to one thing, but to open up doors so that I could walk through many, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
beautiful.
About the fire.
It's so beautiful. And they say, like, to be successful is, the definition of success is to be able to have time to do the things that you want to do.
Exactly.
Right? That's
Exactly.
truly the definition of success.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Right.
Next question now. How do y'all stay motivated? How do you keep going? What's the force that drives y'all? And I know that
I want to go for it.
I'd actually like to start that off.
definitely just
I feel like I have which I'm very, very grateful for, I have a wonderful, how do I say it? base.
Foundation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like in this life I've had a very wonderful foundation in the sense that I was raised by my mother. I feel like my mother's words is a constant motivation. My mother is an entrepreneur. My mother is a person that has multiple businesses. My mom is a person that since I was very young has been like, you want to do it? Go. You want to have that? All right. You want to da-da-da-da? Try it. But is a very stoic person as well, so it's very straight up. So it's like, oh, you want that? Put in your work. Put in your work. All right. Oh, you want to have a food truck? Save up your money. Oh, you want to? Okay, then, get to it. So I feel like that, I've been hearing it since I was little, and I'm still hearing it, and I'm going to hear it. I'm going to give it to my kids. I'm going to give it to people. I'm going to share it with the world because it is motivational. That the reminder of, hey, anything that you want in this lifetime is possible, and you got to meet it halfway, because you could daydream in your room and hope that someone knocks on your doors, and fuck, you might be lucky and someone might, but they might not. So go knock on them, go walk outside and go find out, hey, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? And that keeps me motivated. That idea that, hey, I could have anything that I want.
Anything.
And that's not material. It doesn't mean material. That means, hey, I can have anything that I want. I could have a breather. I could have a Tuesday off. I could be off by 4 p.m. That. But yeah.
G, how do you stay motivated?
Pretty much, I see it every day. I see so much hurt everywhere. Like, I'm so motivated to break chains. Like, I was born to liberate not only myself, my family, and my future generations. It seems like everywhere I go, it's just people are crying out for help, and they don't even know they're fucking crying, and they don't even know they're bleeding out, dude. And I feel like nobody has taught me how to live, and I'm here trying to find it out on my own. And literally, when I say work on myself, I mean healing. Like, digging in to what hurts and digging in even deeper. Like, as soon as I think I'm healed, all right, I'm on to the next one. It's never ending. And now I accepted it. I thought there was an end point, but now it's a way of life. So my inspiration is literally being able to live a fulfilling life that inspires other people to do the same. But I want to do it in a way where I don't have to talk. I don't like talking.
You are good at it.
This has been 30 years of being so quiet. I was always a shy girl, bro. I've always been good at listening. I like observing. So I'm telling you, it's my time. When you gave me the invitation, I didn't want it to be, but life was telling me it's your time.
Yeah. Here, come at this time.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's go.
There's no choice.
You
There's
were
no
voluntold.
RSVP.
Yeah, voluntold, basically. Yeah, because
Your Uber arrives at 7:30.
I thought about hiding, but I was like, no, that's it. Like, grow the fuck up, Giselle. Like, I'm always avoiding people. I'm always hiding. I'm always planning my day on how to be ahead of people so they don't have to see me. And it's actually very exhausting. Like, the fact that I don't want to confront people. I mean, basically, it's because I don't want to confront myself. But it's not even about freedom, because you can have freedom and all the time, but if you don't have no money, what the hell are you going to do with your time? So, as financial freedom or generational wealth, I'm not sure which one's the word, but I want my kids to start where I end. I don't want them to have the same beginning. Yeah. And I'm going to close it with, it's weird, but my grandmother's spoon, my great-grandmother's spoon, she passed away last year. First, I had the heartbreak in 2019. My grandma got me through it. We cuddled every night in bed. She left me in 2021, but it was time. 101 years old.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, she's a legend. She's a legend. And I had to do the hardest prayer of my life, which was to take her. That's the hardest thing I ever had to do. But she wasn't born with a silver spoon, but she made sure I had one. And
Wow.
Here we are. We're making history.
Yes.
Wow.
We're making history.
Amazing.
Now that's motivation.
Careful with the chair.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, we're on a bootleg chair back here, but I think we're almost making it through.
No one's falling yet.
No,
So we're good.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That definitely means a lot, and it's important in these situations to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, knowing that we're in a safe space, because this is really what drives us, and these are the things that we do deal with, and we hope that everyone out there understands that it's okay to be normal. It's okay to have emotions and have feelings, and it's about expressing them in the proper ways. And so really do appreciate that moment.
I feel very comfortable with you guys.
Definitely,
Thank you.
and that's what you should be. You should be around that type of people, because that's where we do scale and expand. It definitely takes a community to do that. And so,
Facts. I tried to do it alone for so long that I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, if you haven't got the memo in 2022, the memo is collaboration.
Collaboration.
If we walk out of these doors and we don't do business, that's
on
you.
Wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Lexi?
I think staying motivated, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the struggle being an inner one, right? So for me, it's really been firmly placing myself in gratitude every single day, right? Gratitude just for the simplest things. If I can't think of anything, like thank you, I woke up again,
Yes.
But always the gratitude for the opportunity that I was given, right? And the way that everything just fell into place. I say that, and that kind of discounts the work that I did, right? Like, so without the hard work, it wouldn't have fallen into place, right? But I'm grateful that I had the foresight to put in the work, right? Obviously grateful for where I live. Like every morning I drive over the bridge from the beach and the view, and I'm like, this is where I freaking live.
Yeah.
Like,
You did that.
Yeah.
wow, like people save money all damn year to come see what I see every single day, right? So there's gotta be gratitude for that. I think the other piece of staying motivated is making sure you surround yourself with other successful people who are on the same track, right? People who've been through what you've been through. I will never forget month 3 of my agency, and I was a wreck, like fetal position, exhausted, just totally stressed out. And I had another agent who had gone through the process before me 3 years before that, and he said, listen, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna wake up in the morning and you're gonna start to cry. And you're gonna wonder, what the fuck did I get myself into? And then you're gonna go to the office and you're gonna do your thing. And you're gonna leave around 7, 8 o'clock every night, and you're gonna drive back home thinking, what the fuck did I get myself into? And then you're gonna wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. And that was so true, but in that moment, what I needed to hear was him telling me he had the same experience as I was currently experiencing, right? So that was huge for me. And you mentioned your grandma, mom. We have all of those people. My aunt was the first woman that I saw open a business. She had 2 salons. I worked for her. It was a huge inspiration for me. And I stay motivated by looking at that, right? Like those are the people that we stand on the shoulders of, and we need to make them proud, right? And then last thing I think is just, those little words of wisdom that you get from all of the different people, right? So it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So calm down. So that's been a huge thing. And then, as I mentioned, the Women's Empowerment Council, so I run 2 of those, one with the Chamber and then one specific to State Farm agents. And building that community has really made a difference for me, not just because of the benefit that I get from it, but from the feedback that I get from other women, like, I needed this so much, and giving back in that way, I think, helps you to stay motivated. And then I've built other little communities as well. Study groups are huge. I think if you can get into a room with other people who are doing the thing and you're not recreating the wheel at every turn, there's so much value in that.
I feel like so many people get stuck in that, creating the wheel.
Yeah.
Bro, everything you've thought of was already
Been done.
Everything.
So I'm going to do one more shout out to an author. Abby Wambach she was an Olympic soccer player, and she's an incredible human being. She wrote a book called Wolfpack. So I'm recommending that to every single woman in the room. Read that book, Wolfpack, because it really, really illustrates how, as women, we should be supporting each other.
Facts.
And how we should be supporting and showing up for ourselves. It's huge. And it's a very short book. It's like $8 on Amazon. Check it out. It's so good.
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. So y'all are all now part of my Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
This is a Wolfpack.
Heather?
My motivation's really simple because, I mean, my job is simple, the business is simple, it's just pure joy. I mean, I literally don't have to find a gut grit to do my job. I mean, my motivation is the people, my clients, the work that I do. It's the mom calling me, wanting me to be at her child's, milestone birthday, and that will be their memory forever. Or, like I said, the essential workers, they just needed a break and they want to feel appreciated. I work all the time. So, like, I don't have a job, obviously, like 9 to 5, or most entrepreneurs, they work all the time. They work when they want, but they work more than the conventional job. So, I always say I don't have days off. Someone can call me and I could deny the job, but why would I do that? I'm an entrepreneur. I mean, that's my business. So it's just, my motivation is just constantly thinking that that's going to be somebody's memory, that's going to be somebody's joy. It's something that I love to do anyway, and it's really not a difficult thing. Motivation is truly in the work.
You make memories.
I make memories.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Right.
I know you made me want some ice cream. Right?
Did you bring it?
No, I
When I texted you and said I gotta run home, I gotta change, that's what you were to say. Just come on straight here. Just come straight over.
Yeah, no,
But
thank you
yeah.
so much. Thank you.
You're here.
For sure.
All right, so for the last question, I think is important. What advice do you give the listeners, or any creative entrepreneur, anyone that is just looking for some sign, some little golden nugget? Is that what you're calling it?
Golden nugget.
Golden nugget. Who wants to start?
I'll start. Oh my God, I just blanked out.
Podcast.
I just blanked out. Well, say the question one more time.
What advice do you give listeners?
The time is now. Like, so many people plan a date, wait for a date. It was like, dude, the day was yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
You think the resignation of your job was yesterday. Like, the start of your LLC was yesterday. Like, so many people want answers. So many people want a game plan. My blessing in life is that I don't care about either of those. When I have something, I go after it, and I find my answer along the way.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah,
Go. Just go.
I love it. I love it.
So I guess for me, the key piece is just like stay open, right? Perspective is everything. Don't ever think that you know everything, because that's where growing stops, right? And just being open, I think, and seeing challenges as not just challenges, but also opportunities. When COVID happened, none of us could have expected that, but look what we've done, right? Pivot, right? So you've got to be able to see those things that come at people, and there are lots of people who went, I'm out. COVID ruined my life, or whatever the case may be. In my case, I saw it as an opportunity, and I scaled up, right? Because I saw shifts in the market, and I saw those as an opportunity. My team will tell you that I'm overly optimistic about our capacity to get stuff done, right? But that's because I'm always looking at, okay, how do we improve it? What's the opportunity? What are we missing, right? So I would say those key things, and then just surround yourself with other people who are on that same track, right? Who are going to support you and not try to
I think that's number one.
Yeah.
Because yeah, if you're in the wrong circle, you're probably gonna stay in that circle.
Right.
Like if you're not the smartest, if you're not, oh man, rewind. I'm gonna let you finish it.
I was thinking is that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Thank you.
Smartest
Thank
or richest,
First,
I think,
gotcha.
right? Smartest or richest? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Like we gotta find new rooms.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Good. Very, very good points. Tracy?
Okay, so my advice would definitely be, I really like this saying, snail's pace is still progress. A snail is still moving.
True.
They might look slow as hell to us, or like, but you're not always watching the snail. You don't see the behind the scenes of the snail. You don't see the snail at 4:15 a.m. You don't see the snail at 4:30 or 7. So basically all I'm saying is snail's pace is still progress. It's important to take things at your pace, your time, when you feel it's time. You know, people always know. You could hear all of the advice from people. You could go to your best friend and be like, oh, I think, whatever you say. And at the end of the day, you're going to do what you feel. And I feel like that's a great reminder. I always give it to my friends. I give it to my family members. I give it to everybody. Hey, your progress is your progress. Yeah. There's no timeline. There's nobody at the end being like, hey, you haven't done it yet? That's only you. And even if it's you, you have the ability to decide whether that destroys you and you're beating yourself up about it and not doing anything about it, or if you're hearing that in your head and you're moving with it and remembering that hey, I'm moving, maybe it's not happening tomorrow, but I'm doing something with it. So yeah, that would be my advice.
And I think one of the biggest points that kind of ties both of y'all is the idea of keep moving. You know, whatever the pace is, being stagnant and stopping, I think is one of
dangerous.
Yeah, it's extremely dangerous. So whether it's action right now, because for some people they need that. For other people it's like, okay, maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you need to slow down and just understand that it may be a small step, but it is a step, and to continue to move forward is very, very important. So definitely appreciate both of the.
I'll piggyback off that thought. I remember I was so depressed in 2020, and that was the start of my business. And all I was, but I say that to say this.
You can do it too.
Yeah, that's basically if we could do it. I don't want it to make it seem like it's a horror story starting a business, because I don't want us to portray that ever. But it is gonna take work. But the fact is that sometimes you just gotta tell yourself to get in the shower, and that's the biggest victory of the day.
It's just yeah.
Honestly, in the beginning I would shower 4 times a day, not because I was dirty, but because my mind was so fucking dirty. My mom would tell me, "Why are you showering so much?" I'm like, "Don't worry about me."
I'm processing. It's part of the process.
I'll piggyback on that by saying the best thing as an entrepreneur that you can start out is thinking that you have to be confident in what you're providing and what you're offering, because whether it's a service or a good, there's dozens of people that do exactly what you do, but people buy from you because of who you are or the service that you provide, how well you do it, how professional you are. So just be confident in what you're able to do. You don't have to have $1 million idea to be successful or to be a millionaire. You just have to be confident in what you're giving and be professional, and to make sure that you're being genuine with people, because people know when you're BSing, It's like, I don't know how many people that I've purchased things from, but I'll go to somebody else because I just don't feel good about that person. Yeah, so it's just be confident in what you're giving to the world, and make it be you.
Agreed.
Give of yourself.
Agreed. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And a merge of what you say and also what you said about the collaboration, community, really putting yourself out there. Both things is really important, because recognizing let's say you have a business, remember people are looking for your service. You're the one with the knowledge, and that's why they're coming to you. You open up a juice shop, people are coming there because you have juices and they want juices, you know.
The
And
referral business of just being at an event where you're servicing someone else, but then everyone's like, oh my gosh, you know, you did such a great job, and or somebody recommended you. I mean,
Yeah.
referral business is your business.
exactly,
It really is.
exactly.
You know,
Like, wow, that person was so genuine. On the other side, art form. Wow, that person took my photographs, and I felt so comfortable with them.
Yes.
Just that little note tells another person, I gotta hit up that photographer because I want to
Yeah.
feel comfortable too.
I want to feel
You
that
know?
same thing.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Which definitely goes in the power of like branding yourself and you really are like that's something I had to learn with my consulting. I wanted to be behind the camera as well, but I realized that people met me, and when I called them, they remembered, you know, me in that conversation and that energy behind it. So if I was gonna be so, audience, we're gonna have 2 questions. Whoever would like to volunteer to ask a question.
There's so many.
they're sleeping.
I think we can
So
pick.
many to choose from.
Yeah.
And then, so just ask the question. What I was actually thinking about doing is giving the entrepreneurs in the audience an opportunity to introduce themselves and their business. So that we can include that into the podcast as well. So for now, if you just want to, you know, say your name, and then ask your question. Alright. Okay.
Hi, my name is, I go by Cabby Too Sweet.
You have to come closer so you can get to the mic.
You gotta come closer? Yeah.
Yes,
Come on, we all look
you
here.
have to get in, you can just talk from
Yeah.
right here, actually.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Cabby Too Sweet. I'm an artist and a songwriter. I do a lot of things. I'm a creative entrepreneur.
Nice.
Love them.
Very nice to meet
Love
you.
that.
Woo! So, do you have a question for our panel?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Like being an entrepreneur, like in the beginning, like it's like I'm trying to figure out how to navigate in the beginning, right? Like how do you find out how to navigate in the beginning? Like finding investors and like marketing and stuff like that.
So I didn't mention it in my advice answer, but one of my advices is leverage your resources. So there are so many free programs available to female entrepreneurs and just entrepreneurs in general. So you just have to start looking. You know, find the organizations that have free programs. So I'll give you 2 good examples. Small Business Administration has a program where they'll assign a retired executive to you as a mentor. That person can help you connect with people in the community who are like-minded or customers, future prospects, future employees. I had a mentor the first year that I started my business, and I literally got connected with probably 25, 30 people just from that one connect with the SBA. So that was huge for me. And then the other organization, Goldman Sachs, puts on an entrepreneurial, I would say workshop. It's not a workshop, it's like a certificate, it's like a college program. It's 4 months long, but it's a scholarship-based program, so you apply and they select you. They select a specific few based on your application and an interview process. And I will say the second year I was in business, I did that program, and it made a huge difference. Like, you know, I went to college, I went to business school, but this was like, this is how you do this as an entrepreneur, right? Which you don't get in school. So I would highly recommend looking into both of those programs.
So I think
They were helpful for me.
kind of one of the main things is networking.
Yeah,
Finding
networking.
the right. They say it's not always what you know, but who you know.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, you're kind of one step closer because you're here, right? So you're meeting people and you're, you know, putting yourself out there. So yeah, network. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, you have another question?
Alright.
Hey.
Hi everybody, my name is Amber.
Hi,
And
Amber.
I am a co-instructor.
Okay.
Alright.
Um,
Yes.
So I know a lot of people say
My greatest mistake, dude, I swear I wasted like 6 years trying to invent the wheel that someone had already reinvented.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go.
Yeah.
so many of us stay stuck and wanting to build something. Actually, like I said earlier, like every thought you've had or everything you want to do, someone has already done it. So you gotta find that person that has the blueprint, basically. And you would think that they don't want to give you the information, but they want to spill it over and they want to mentor you and they want you to grow because that feels good. I feel like the most selfish thing in this life is giving. So you're gonna find someone that will literally open all their doors to you and give you every answer. And it's not even about the time or money. No, it's not about the money, but it cuts so much time to get to where you want to be. I feel like, I mean, in 2020, I locked myself in a hotel and I did Tony Robbins UPW. It's a 4-day event. The most craziest thing I've ever done in my life. It's like 12-hour trainings every day, and he's literally in your face. And it was virtual. This was during the pandemic, and it was. I left that hotel room a different person. That was 15 grand. The next year, I go to Grant Cardone. I invest 30 grand in his mentorship. He paying the 30 grand allowed me to charge what I'm worth. Because before I would be giving.
Yeah.
Before I'll be giving discounts to everybody. Oh, you're my friend. Oh, we went to high school together. No, man. Know your worth.
Yeah.
And like my pastor says, add the tax. Like, Pastor Rich. So someone has the blueprint for you. You got to find that person.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a great
Exactly.
answer.
Right.
That's even what I was thinking about pricing this
So, yes, this concludes the podcast. Thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah,
Thank you. This is the first Think Tank podcast. We will be doing more, so please keep an eye out for our notifications. We'll post this on a few different platforms, as well as give these ladies an opportunity to post it as well. We wanna
Share.
Yeah, getting everyone's brand, everyone.
Tag.
We want to continue getting everyone's name out there, their mission out there, and continue to network and come together so we can all grow. And
We're going to eat together.
we're gonna
Yes.
eat together. The play's gonna be big enough for everyone.
Girl
so
power.
thank you so much, everyone.